province-wide police probe, Ontario's Inspector General of Policing is launching a review of every police service in the province to check for corruption.
Well, police make another appeal to the public as they continue to search for a 90-year-old man who's been missing for nearly 2 weeks.
It's the first PM rush hour commute test for the city's newest transit line. We'll get a live update from CP24's Phil Perkins, who's riding the Eglinton Crosstown LRT.
Well, Air Canada is suspending service to Cuba. This is due to a jet fuel shortage. We're going to tell you how the airline plans to bring home the nearly 3,000 Canadians who are on the island.
This is Live at 5. Hi, everybody. I'm Liz West.
I'm Bakari Savage. Welcome to Live at 5. Ontario's Inspector General of Policing has announced a province-wide probe into police corruption. It comes after 8 current and former Toronto police officers were charged in Project South, a sweeping investigation into police corruption. Ryan Teschner says organized crime is insidious and is eroding public confidence in police.
And CP24's crime analyst Steve Ryan is joining us in studio with a closer look at this police probe. What do you know, Steve?
Well, the Inspector General is going to assign one person to be in charge of this investigation, this review of all 45 police services in the province. It's being done proactively to see if there were any institutional failures and what sort of governance can be put into place now to change some of the policies and procedures that are in place right now that will give off some sort of alert if, in fact, some of these systems are being abused. It's being done to try to identify if, in fact, officers are diverting from the world of law enforcement to criminality. And this is being done in a proactive way, hoping that they can point this stuff out before it actually gets to the point where there are arrests made.
Okay, also, Steve, there's another aspect of this that I'd like to ask you about. We heard Chief Dimku mention this earlier, morale, and that it goes beyond the role of Inspector General.
Yeah, well, morale is always a concern in policing. So that's the job now of the Toronto Police Association and the chief and his command to ensure that that morale is not lost. One of the officers said to me at that press conference the other day, there's this understanding that an officer will follow another officer down a dark, dangerous alley, no questions asked. You're doing that because you know that part of the job is you're going to protect one another. The quote was, we follow each other down dark alleys. We don't lure each other down in dark alleys. So the fact that you've got allegations are that you've got sworn uniform members who were trying to get addresses of other police officers. That really cuts deep when it comes to affecting the morale. But at the end of the day, the policemen and women will go out and they'll do their jobs, and they'll do it with honor and integrity. And that in and of itself will get back some of that trust that may have been lost as a result of this very disturbing announcement.
So we know that the whole province is going to be examined. What kind of teeth or power does Ontario's Inspector General actually have should, issues be revealed?
Lots of teeth. So the Inspector General gets its authority from the Community Safety and Policing Act, and it's done to review systems. Are there institutional failures in these systems? They can make not only recommendations, but they can demand changes be made, and they're not recommendations, they are orders that have to be complied with by all the police services. So they've got a lot of teeth when they're going to look into all of what's been done now to see if, in fact, can they change things to prevent this from happening again.
Okay, so what are we hearing? What else are we hearing from Ontario's Inspector General of Policing? And did you hear something from the Ontario Police Association? So
we heard from the Toronto Police Association. They put out a statement that I picked up on social media, and they are welcoming this review by the Inspector General. What they are concerned about, and this is the association doing their job, they are concerned that a lot of the hammer is going to come down on the men and women out in the front lines who, as you hear all the time, 95%, 99% of them are doing professional work with integrity and honor, and they don't want those officers to be affected. So they support a review, but they want to make sure that it's not handled unfairly to all the men and women that are out there answering the radio calls.
Steve Ryan, thanks so much for being with us.
You got it.
Thanks, Steve. Well, CP24's Beatrice Vaisman is live at Toronto Police Headquarters tonight with reaction from the city's top cop to the launch of a province-wide police probe. Beatrice, you were there during the announcement, and I said it earlier, I'll say it again, you were able to ask direct questions.
Certainly, Bakari Liz, this is an investigation and probe that Chief Myron Demke is welcoming, partly because he, along with Chair Shelley Carroll from the Toronto Police Services Board, actually asked for this to be launched. Now, of course, it's been expanded all across this province, not just to the Toronto Police Service. What we heard from Chief Demke today was that changes are already happening in the high ranks at Toronto Police Service. What I heard from sources was that on Thursday, for example, there was not a single staff sergeant on a single platoon at 12 Division, a division where some of the officers who have been charged criminally as part of Project South worked. Well, that's now changed. The chief saying that there have now been staff sergeants and sergeants brought in to provide more supervision at 12 Division, and that those kinds of changes are going to be happening service-wide. Here's more from Police Chief Myron Demke. He was asked about this and why it actually took so long to have these changes come into place.
As of this morning, I can tell you that there's some very high-performing staff sergeants and sergeants have been reassigned to 12 Division effective immediately. So given the shift patterns, of course, the members will meet them in due course as they come into work, but that is something we did immediately.
Why was that not the case before, Chief?
Well, listen, we're a big organization going through a multi-year hiring plan, and you've heard me talk about throughout the budget cycles of the last few years, there's a need for us to continue to invest in our frontline service delivery capacity and including our ability to have supervision within our ranks. It's important to recognize that a sergeant means a police officer from a police car being promoted. This is the what the multi-year hiring plan is about.
So the chief, along with Chair Shelley Carroll, recognizing that it's going to take some time for the recommendations from the Inspector General to come forward. This is not a process where these recommendations are going to be made in a week or even in months' time. So it's going to take some time. And so the chief saying that already some safeguards are being put in place, that some processes are being set up, internal processes and practices to ensure that his service is responding as quickly as possible to some changes that are necessary to ensure that corruption isn't finding its way into the Toronto Police Service. This is certainly a story that has captured national attention, and today we're hearing from some other police chief, including Durham's police chief, who expressed his frustration and his outright disgust with what he saw when it comes to the corruption, allegations of bribes being taken by some of these officers, allegations of protecting some illegal cannabis dispensaries, and allegations of conspiracy to commit murder, targeting specifically a manager at an Ontario correctional facility. Here's more from Chief Moreira.
Allegations like this are quite honestly disgusting as a police officer to hear. If these individuals are engaged in this kind of activity, this is an absolute betrayal to the oath that we all took, the reasons that we go out there, and for all the men and women who have injured themselves or been killed doing this important work for our citizens. This is amongst the greatest betrayals that I've ever seen in my career, and one that I'm is the reason why I'm supportive of the Inspector General's work.
Our viewers, Bakari and Liz, might remember that on Thursday when I reported on the story at the time, 7 Toronto police officers were charged criminally. The chief at the time said he was looking to suspend 4 of them without pay. That has now changed. He today announced he's looking to suspend 6 of them without pay under the new legislation, the Community Safety and Policing Act. So certainly this is a story that we will continue to follow. The chief's back at City Hall tomorrow once again as the budget process goes through. We can imagine he'll be fielding some questions as well about receiving more money from the city, considering some officers are now being accused of corruption. Back to you guys.
Okay, live from TPS headquarters, CP24's Beatrice Vaisman.
And it's the first evening rush hour test for the city's newest transit line, the Eglinton Crosstown LRT. So let's go live to CP24's Phil Perkins, you're on the train and you're in a commute position. How's it going, Phil?
Yes, this is my lounge position. This is the way I would probably stand here. It's a very strategic spot. You're looking at everybody. You can scan the LRT, and you have a great view, especially with the sunset going down right now. So we're on Eglinton East, heading westbound towards Mount Dennis. We just passed Golden Mile Station, and we're talking to a lot of people who are now wrapping up school, wrapping up work, going back home, just asking how their commute is. So Sunday was the grand opening. People lining up for hours overnight in minus 35-degree temperatures. They were transit enthusiasts. They were happy no matter matter what. But we're talking to people who are relying on this every single day, like Oliver here, who just wrapped up school. This is your first time on the LRT? Instant reaction.
It's a lot faster than I was expecting. These stations are going by a lot quicker than anticipated. I can't remember if it was this line or line 6, but people were saying that they could run faster than
That was the Finch West.
That was the Finch West? I thought it was this one.
No, this one is actually moving at a pretty good clip.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it being built, and it's now that it's here and it's working a lot better than it looked like their testing was going. I could see myself using this line a lot more often.
And how would you normally get to school?
I usually just take I'll take the line 2 down to Kennedy, and then I take a bus up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this might work. Okay, well, we have one person who's enjoying it. We got Dustin here. This is your third trip now, and you've been making this a personal experiment as well.
Yes, exactly, because I've been timing it, because usually going to work, it takes me an hour to an hour 15 minutes, but yesterday it took me only 20 minutes, which is like a third of my usual commute through bus, so it's perfect for me.
And so what would you have to take multiple buses and a subway?
Usually from my place, just a bus to Eglinton Station, then take the subway there, but just from my place to Eglinton Station, it cut my commute time in more than half.
And so we've been staying above ground just for reception reasons. So underground, how fast has this been?
Yeah, it's really fast, but yeah, that's true. There's no reception underground, but I don't mind because I can take a nap, and after like a few minutes, then I'm here already. So all good. It's really fast.
So safe to say this is kind of life-changing?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm so happy. Like 5 years ago when I moved here as a PhD student, so like commuting is really stressful, especially during winters, my first winter here in Canada. But now I can see like I'm enjoying like the commute.
All right, wait. Yes, it's 6 years behind. It's $1 billion over budget. But when it comes to people who are actually using this every single day, they're just happy it's operational. Send it back to you two.
It looks really smooth and comfortable. Is it as comfortable as it looks to us?
Yes, I don't think this driver's watching. It's a bit jerky right now, but we've been riding this all afternoon, and it's very smooth normally. It is very smooth, I must say.
All right. Thanks for that, Phil. It's Phil Perkins live on the LRT.
All right, let's head live to the TTC Transit Control Center. This is where TTC's head of corporate communications, Adrian Grundy, is joining us. Adrian, what's the update?
Well, that last interview was music to our ears. I think this Line 5 is saving people a lot of time. And good news is it's running very, very well. We did have some issues a little earlier on Line 2 at Castle Frank Station. Those have now cleared, so smooth sailing on Line 2 right now. Also on Line 1, Line 4 and Line 6. So it's all good transit-wise out there today. Now, if you are heading out tonight, just be aware there is an early subway closure on Line 1. That is from 11 p.m. between St Clair West and St Andrew stations. That's while we perform some station upgrades. DuPont Museum, Queen's Park, St Patrick and Osgood stations will be closed. Shuttle buses will run and they will stop at each station along the route. For more information on these closures and more, visit ttc.ca.
We appreciate that update, Adrian Grundy. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, it's 5:13, -8 with the wind chill -12. This is Live at 5.
And up ahead, police provide an update on the search for a missing person, 90-year-old Joseph.
A driver has been arrested in a collision in Etobicoke that has left a pedestrian dead. It happened last Tuesday evening at Dundas at Acorn Avenue. That's near Kipling. And police say a 28-year-old man was crossing Dundas when he was struck and killed. 25-year-old Joseph Alvarado Portillo of Mississauga is charged with dangerous operation. Investigators continue to appeal for witnesses and footage in the case.
Well, Toronto police are continuing to appeal to the public for help as they continue to try to find a Scarborough senior who's been missing for almost 2 weeks. So for the latest on the search effort, let's go live to CP24's Melissa Doug and Melissa.
Bakari, Liz, concern is growing tonight for a missing 90-year-old man. His name is Joseph. Where I am right now in the Farmington and Glendinning area, this is where his home is, but he was last seen in the city's east end near Coxwell and Gerrard. At that time, he was in a vehicle. At this point, police aren't sure if he's on foot or if he's in that vehicle. Joseph is described as 5'5". He has white hair and brown eyes. Last seen, he was wearing a beige coat, a red and black black striped vest, blue jeans, and a blue rubber walking shoes. As for his vehicle, it's described as bluish gray. It's a Toyota Corolla. It has an Ontario license plate of DCKX933. Obviously, weather has been a factor here. The last time Joseph was spotted, that was on Thursday, January 29th, just before midnight. It is 11 days since he's been spotted. Here's what we're hearing from Toronto Police.
As we know, it's been the coldest it's been for quite a while with these frigid temperatures. And I mean, it's not good for anybody, like especially the elderly. They can easily become confused, which is our biggest concern. And I mean, you can get frostbite within minutes.
Obviously, it has been very, very cold over these 11 days where Joseph has been missing. People in this area where I am right now, again, this is Pharmacy and Glendinning, Coxwell and Gerrard, those areas specifically, people are asked to check out their property, look in your shed, anywhere where people might be seeking out warmth if they may be out in the elements, to see if there are any signs that someone was there. Also, if anyone may have caught something on their outdoor cameras, on their vehicle cameras, to share that with Toronto Police. They're just looking for any sign of Joseph at this point. Something else we're hearing from Toronto Police is that he has a medical condition that does require medication. It's not believed he has that with him. So again, that just adding to that mounting concern at this point. Anyone, Bakari and Liz, who thinks they have spotted Joseph even, reach out to Toronto Police, reach out to Crime Stoppers with any of that information to help bring Joseph home safe. Back to you.
Okay, reporting live, CP24's Melissa Duggan.
And Environment Canada has lifted the cold weather warning for the GTHA. A relief is in sight from the frigid temperatures. This is good news. It felt close to -30 early this morning, but temperatures are expected to rise up to -7 today. For the first time in weeks, a solid stretch of seasonal temperatures are on the horizon, and we'll hover around the freezing mark starting tomorrow and for the rest of the week. The relief comes after a period of extreme cold that was the longest in more than a decade. We could get between 2 to 4 centimeters of snow tomorrow. The city's 5 warming centers remain open to help bring vulnerable people in from the cold. City officials say the temporary surge spaces are now closed, and they're working to refer individuals to other spaces in the shelter system. A list of locations that can be found on the city's website.
Right now it's 5:18, -8, feeling like -12. This is Live at 5.
And up next, why Air Canada is suspending flights to Cuba and how the airplane plans to bring people home.
Air Canada is suspending service to Cuba. This is due to a shortage of jet fuel on the island. So the airline says it will still send flights to Cuba over the following days to pick up the approximately 3,000 passengers that are already there and bring them back home. Now, Cuba had warned international airlines aviation fuel would no longer be available starting tomorrow. A shortfall is expected to last through March 11th. Air Canada plans to tanker in extra fuel for the planes that will carry its customers home. And it says that it will monitor the situation to determine when to restart regular service. And CTV News Toronto had a chance to speak with some travelers at Pearson Airport who came back from Cuba today.
There was no food shortages or anything where we were, and we actually didn't hear about anything until we were on the plane. So we had no stress. We were fine. I'm glad we're home, though.
We did not experience any outages. Everything was great. We were there. We stayed at the Mille Veradero, and everybody around us, other hotels, our whole flight, none of us experienced any of that.
Honestly, everything was great there. Like, there was lots of food. We experienced no power shortages.
Cineplex is closing its location in the Beaches later this month. The company says the decision to close the theater on Queen East near Coxwell was made after the landlord chose to lease the space to another business. Now, Cineplex says it'll host a final day of screenings at the cinema. Mark it on your calendar, February 17th.
An iconic music shop in the city is having its swan song. Steve's Music Store is clearing out its retail space on Queen Street West. This as the business enters restructuring. It'll be closing along with other locations in Ontario and Quebec. Liquidation sales will be held at all of the outlets. Steve's Music Store says it made the decision following significant disruptions across the sector over the past several years. And the announcement comes less than a year after the music shop celebrated 60 years in business.
Yeah, it really is an icon in the city. 523 -8 feels like -12. This is Live at 5.
And coming up, we're going to tell you how Canadian basketball superstar Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is investing in his hometown of Hamilton. A Canadian basketball superstar, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, has invested in his hometown of Hamilton, joining the ownership group of TD Coliseum. So the 27-year-old reigning NBA MVP reaching a partnership with Oakview Group. There's going to be an atrium inside the venue named after SGA's son, Aries. The investment is being framed as a long-term commitment to Hamilton's economic and cultural growth. Gilgeous-Alexander received the key to the city and had a street named after him after leading the Oklahoma City Thunder to the NBA championship.
Canada has won our second medal of the Winter Games. Megan Oldham picking up a bronze in the women's slopestyle event. It's the first Olympic medal for the 24-year-old Parry Sound native in her second Games after just missing out on the final 4 years ago. The medal brings Canada's total so far in Italy to 2. And speed skater Beatrice Lamarche had Canada's best finish in the women's 1,000-meter event. She finished 5th with less than a second between her time and the bronze medalist from Japan. Netherlands took the gold and silver in the event. Fellow Canadians Carolina Hiller-Donnelly and Rosalind Liberté-Roy finished 26th and 27th, respectively.
Well, a Calgary artist was chosen to design the masks for Canada's Olympic goalies, including Alberta's Logan Thompson.
What he asked for was he wanted a Calgary/Alberta vibe for his mask. So, still wants a very Canadian kind of leaf on there, but the background stuff, he definitely wanted the Calgary Tower in there. And I kind of asked him if he wanted to do that kind of that pond hockey scene in front and then the city and the mountains in the back.
Well, you can see Dave Freed's work starting Thursday. That's when Canada's men open their Olympic journey against Czechia.
It's 527 -8, sitting at -12 with the wind chill. This is Live at 5.
And we are live on the Eglinton Crosstown LRT, keeping an eye on the evening commute on the city's newest transit line. We're going to check in with CP24's Phil Perkins on the train next. A province-wide police probe. Ontario's Inspector General of Police is launching a review of every police service in the province to check for corruption.
Police make another appeal to the public as they continue to search for a 90-year-old man who's been missing for nearly 2 weeks.
And it's the first afternoon rush commute test for the city's newest transit line. We're going to get a live update from CP24's Phil Perkins, who's on the Eglinton Crosstown LRT.
Air Canada is suspending service to Cuba due to a jet fuel shortage. We'll tell you how the airline plans to bring home the nearly 3,000 Canadians who are on the island.
This is Live at 5. Good evening. I'm Bakari Savage.
And I'm Liz West. Welcome to Live at 5. It's the first evening rush hour test for the city's newest transit line. It's the Eglinton Crosstown LRT. So right now we're going to go live to CP24's Phil Perkins, who's waiting for a train right now. You're at Don Valley Station. How is the commute been? Is it busy?
It was. We just missed the train that was going eastbound towards Kennedy, and it was packed. And I think the closer you get to Line 1, the Young University Spadina line, the more packed it is, and it slowly dissipates as the closer you get to Kennedy. So if you stayed at Kennedy all day, you would think, oh, no one's using this line, but that's not true. A lot of people are using this line, especially in the afternoon commute. And you're probably also wondering, why am I now wearing a scarf and gloves as opposed to last half hour when I wasn't? These stations aren't heated. It is very cold, and I could only imagine what it's going to be like in the summertime. But with that said, if you want to throw out everything from what happened with the Finch West line, how late the Eglinton Crosstown is, how expensive it was, commuters I've spoken to throughout the day, we've been riding it back and forth all afternoon long. Everyone has been happy with it. It's a smooth ride. It is pretty efficient when it comes to getting to the station on time. And also, it's not a bus. You're not waiting outside. You're not having to get into a car. It's actually quite thrilling, to be honest with you, sitting on the LRT and seeing yourself passing passenger vehicles that just have one person in it. And we're in a train that's packed with people. And again, so a lot of people are really looking at this as a life-changing addition to their commute. We spoke to a gentleman who finished his PhD. He's working at U of T Scarborough campus. He lives in the West End, and his commute has been cut in half in an instant. Here's what other people had to say.
It's nice. It feels fresh in here. I'll see if it's shorter or longer for me. So I'm going to see my grandparents, and yeah, I hope it's shorter, but about to find out. I feel like I walked through a bunch of tunnels from the bus to here, but it's a good experience so far.
It took us like half the usual time that we travel. We timed it yesterday. It was busy, but it was really fast. So it will be more convenient for all the commuters.
Which difference is this going to make in terms of your commute? Is it going to be quicker?
Quicker, faster, nicer. Yeah, everything. Good, real good.
And the underground portion that we're in right now, pretty fast?
Yeah, everything's going on nice.
Yeah, so everything is going on nice. We've been on the overground portion majority of the time, and it's moving quicker than I was expecting after hearing, people physically outrunning the Finch West LRT. But from what I've heard, because we haven't been underground at all because of, broadcast purposes, we had no reception. Apparently underground has been moving very quickly, upwards of 60 kilometers an hour. And we do know this is a soft launch of the crosstown. So eventually the underground portion will go up to 80 kilometers an hour. And eventually in Scarborough, the above ground portion, they'll have the transit signal priority, so it should move even quicker than it is now, and that really would be a game changer for a lot of people. Send it back to you, Liz Macari.
Now, Phil, you mentioned that it's chilly, but what else is the station like? Does it feel pretty good? Is it spacious?
It's great. Yeah, look, if we just take, the ceilings are super high. I don't even know how many stories that we are underground. Nice art. It's very contemporary. It's not like the old college station where you knew you were underneath Maple Leaf Gardens. You had, Canadians players on one side, Maple Leafs players on the other. This is very kind of generic. It's kind of nice. It is very clean as the train is pulling up behind us now. I don't know if you want to stay with us the entire time to get on the train or at least see how busy it is. We're going to get on it because our cars are parked at Kennedy Station. But the stations are very nice and clean. They're wide. They're accessible. Here we are. We have an eastbound LRT, and it is packed.
Okay, so Phil,
and again,
I do
these
have to ask you.
Pretty big trains.
I do have to ask you about the sound level. It seems like it's running pretty smoothly. How loud is it?
It's not loud. It's very slick. I'm not saying it's like a monorail, like you can't hear anything, or how most electric vehicles, you can't hear them going forward, only backwards. You can see the amount of people getting off at Don Mills. Don Mills obviously is a major road connecting to so many neighborhoods. So we're going to get on now that we're all clear. But the sound is very clear.
What
Speaking
about the
of sound,
announcements, Phil?
the PA system, really loud. The announcements, they're mumbled, but they're loud. They're really loud. So I guess they're overcompensating the mumbledness by making it really loud. Hello. I know, right? You got to yell. You guys want to talk about your commute real quick, live on CP24? Is this the first time you've been on the LRT?
Yes. It's very good.
Yes? Are you going home or are you going to work?
Going to home.
And so, how did you get to work?
That's fine.
Did you take the LRT or did you take something else?
No, only just first time now.
Okay.
Only just today.
And so how's it been? You're coming into the station, you're on the train now,
I'm going to now is Kennedy subway, and going to straight, and now is finally, so it's open, and because going to is very quickly, so it's bus.
Yeah.
So it's no traffic, nothing.
Right.
So it's very good.
So better than the bus, no car.
Yeah.
Do you think the ride is nice and smooth?
Yes. Everything is fine.
Everything's great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes. Hello. Did you want to chat real quick about your commute? Is this your first time on the LRT?
Yeah, today was my first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is now your second time you're going home?
Yes, sir.
So how was your morning commute to work?
It was very. It saved me a lot of time.
Because normally, how would you get to work? You would take the bus?
I would take around an hour and a half to 2 hours. Now it's around only 52 minutes to 1 hour.
Wow. Because before, okay, that's great. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. So we're here on the LRT right now. It's It's rammed as we are. I don't know where
Phil.
we're at. AgaCon. I think we're at AgaCon. We're at the AgaCon Museum one. But it's rammed. Yes.
Thank you so much. It's great to hear people talking about how much time this is cutting off their commute. Good luck getting to your car. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I will say no parking at Kennedy Station. See you guys soon.
All right.
That's Phil Perkins live on the Eglinton Crosstown LRT.
Right now, let's head live to the TTC Transit Control Center. This is where TTC's head of corporate communications, Adrian Grundy, is joining us tonight. We just finished hearing about the Eglinton Crosstown LRT. What can you tell us about this first full weekday of transportation for it?
Well, I think you're hearing it straight from the mouths of our customers who appear to be very grateful that they are having a faster, a better and a nicer ride. I think they were the words one of our customers used just then, and that to us is why we come to work. The TTC is here to deliver a faster and better service, and that's exactly what we've been doing today and for the first day yesterday. Yesterday was terrific. As you mentioned, I think earlier, it was a day for a lot of transit enthusiasts, people who went out to try the new line for the first time. But today is about people getting to work, getting to appointments, doing their daily life. And we're hearing stories of people's commutes being cut in half. And that's what this new east-west connection, this new spine down the midsection of Toronto is all about.
For riders, if they have questions, what can you tell us about the TTC workers who are there on the ground, on the cars, if they need to ask for help?
Yeah, so we have what we call our Red Smock Brigade. They are out in force across the network. They are there to assist customers, to point them where to go to get on the new line, but also how their new buses, their buses now connect with the new line. There are certain changes to bus routes because this brand new line obviously eliminates the need for some elements of routes, such as the 34 Eglinton now runs the whole gamut between Kennedy and Mount Dennis, while the 32 runs from Mount Dennis out to Renforth. So there are changes to people's bus habits as well, and we're out there helping them get to know that new arrangement.
Adrian, one quick question before we let you go. Phil Perkins, our reporter, said it was really cold at the station. Why is that?
Yeah, well, I think it's really cold in Toronto. That's a given. And yes, it is cold in the stations. These stations, this infrastructure was built by Metrolinx and is maintained by CTS Crosslink Solutions. So, we don't actually heat our stations either in the TTC network. But I think what you're seeing right now is a reflection of just what you're feeling outside. It's biting.
Okay, Adrian Grundy, TTC's head of corporate communications. Thanks a lot.
And residents and business owners impacted by the more than decade-long construction of the Eglinton Crosstown want to be compensated for the impact it had on them. CTV's Allison Hurst joins us live with more from Little Jamaica. Allison?
Liz, yes, we've been speaking with a lot of business owners. And first off, I just want to mention how excited a lot of them are that the LRT has finally opened. They have been waiting a very long time for this, promised for almost 2 decades, that this would mean the return of some customers for them and a revitalization of this neighborhood. So this has been a very long wait in the making for them. Lots of excitement, but anticipation and hoping and waiting to see that foot traffic begin to return. So a number of them are asking for compensation. They're looking for governments to come and lend a bit of hand, give them some cash so that they can try and make ends meet until they see these customers return. They say that over the last, say, 13 years in particular, when that construction really got going around 2013, one of them was telling us, when the boards all went up and there was little access to their businesses, it was hard for any foot traffic for people to get in and out of them, or accessibility, access the fronts of their storefronts, that was when the challenges really started to hit a number of businesses. There are stretches of blocks with dozens of businesses that closed during the last almost 16 years of this construction project. So a lot of them are hoping for some compensation to sort of bridge the gap until they see the customers return. That's a call from both the BIA as well as a number of businesses that we were speaking with here today. They're telling us that they're still struggling, telling us that they're still sort of going paycheck to paycheck, month to month, hoping and waiting for this day, for the LRT to start running and for the customers to return. Here's a little bit more of what they told us.
We lost a lot of money. Business was slow. But we tried to pull through it. When the pandemic happened, that was another double whammy. But in all, we prevailed. And now we are excited that the subway is open. Yesterday, Sunday, I ride on the subway. I think I ride go as far as Eglinton and Yonge and come back to Fairbank. So yeah, that was fun. It was exciting. And I'm just happy for all the business owners along Little Italy. Sorry, Little Jamaica.
I remember coming here to Gus grocery store. My mom used to shop here all the time. And if you haven't seen somebody for years from Jamaica or from the Caribbean and you come to Eglinton, you're going to see them. If you don't see them this week, you'll see them next week because it was such a lively, vibrant little Jamaica community. But hopefully, now that the subway is open and people can start coming back to Little Jamaica, we'll bring a lot of traffic and hopefully help the businesses that are suffering.
We heard a lot about that today, about just how vibrant this neighborhood used to be years ago before the construction happened, and how hopeful everyone is here who have managed to stay open. All of these businesses are hopeful that that will return. Now that the LRT is running, people will be able to come back to this neighborhood and it'll breathe life back into this area of the city. Liz and Bakari, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you so much, Allison.
It's now 5:43, -8, feeling like -12. This is Live at 5.
And up next, Ontario's Inspector General of Policing has announced all 45 police forces in the province will be investigated. This after 7 Toronto police officers were charged in a corruption probe. Ontario's Inspector General of Policing has announced a province-wide probe into police corruption. Now, this comes after 8 current and former Toronto police officers were charged in Project South. That was a sweeping investigation into police corruption. And Ryan Teschner says organized crime is insidious and is eroding public confidence in police. And right now, we're joined by CP24's crime analyst, Steve Ryan, in studio. And Steve, now the whole province is going to be examined. How invasive will it actually be for each police service?
The Inspector General has the authority to review and investigate policies, procedures, governance. Is there compliance with that governance? So it's more systemic than on a personal level. But what it will do, it will ensure that if somebody crosses over from the realm of law enforcement to corruption, there will be signs and signals. There will be some risk management that the police service will be able to do to stop that before it gets any further. So the review will be done of the systems, and the Inspector General can make recommendations or orders. Actually, not recommendations. They are orders if they find that orders to be important to change the way things are done. And it'll go just to the systems themselves. And that'll be the risk management aspect of this to identify if, in fact, somebody is going over again into that world of criminality.
Will this look differently for smaller municipalities?
No, it's going to be the same systems across the province. Every police service has access to the same system. So you can look overall at your hiring practices. You can look overall at your heightened monitoring, supervision of your officers, their fitness for duty. But as far as all of the systems that are in place, they're pretty much the same all around. This is why the Inspector General said today during an interview that I had with him, he said police officers can be transient. They can go from one police service to another within the province, and all of the systems come from the same database. So this is why they're looking at all 45 police services, not just the Toronto Police Service.
And do you think this is a good idea?
I do. Anytime you have allegations of corruption, it's always good to have that third-party person come in and have a look at all of the systems that are in place. And this is something that Chief Demke spoke about as well when it comes to transparency. He welcomes this review, this investigation, and they're hoping that there can be new checks and balances put into place that will help identify anybody that's straying off of the world of policing into that world of organized crime or just criminality in general.
All right, great. That's Steve Ryan. Thanks for joining us. And CP24's Beatrice Vaisman is live right now at Toronto Police Headquarters with reaction from city's top cop to the launch of this province-wide police probe. Beatrice?
Liz Bakari, this is a probe that Chief Myra Demke actually asked Inspector General Ryan Teschner to undertake. So no question about it, the chief supports it. He's also welcoming the news that it's going to be expanded to include every single police service across this province. Certainly the chief still reeling from the news that was announced on Thursday that 7 of his officers have been charged criminally as part of Project South. And these allegations are extremely serious. Allegations of bribery, of protecting illegal dispensaries, of conspiracy to commit murder, a murder plot that allegedly involved a manager at an Ontario detention center. These are all incredibly serious charges. The chief adding today that from those 7 officers who have been criminally charged, he's now seeking to have 6 of them suspended without pay. That's up from 4, which we previously reported on Thursday. He also acknowledges that he's going to be putting together other internal processes that are meant to curb the possibility of corruption within his service, acknowledging that it may take some time. And we heard from the chair of the Toronto Police Services Board as well. It may take some time from the recommendations from the Inspector General to actually come forward, so it is time to take action now. Here's more from the chief and from Shelley Carroll as well.
I will simply say that I welcome the Inspector General's approach to doing this as a sector-wide issue. I think, it's very readily available when you very readily understandable that when you look at what we're dealing with, that this is something that everybody would want to see dealt with comprehensively.
The chief has been clear in his commitment to transparency, cooperation, and to doing the work that is going to be necessary, doing that work that is required to rebuild trust in our community. His leadership is going to be essential to recommendations coming forward and being implemented in as quick a process as possible. The board, meanwhile, is going to be focused on supporting the Inspector General's work. We will continue to work very closely with the chief to ensure all necessary changes are made to support public safety in the community we serve.
You heard their chair reaffirming her support for the chief of this organization. Is at 12 division officers who have been charged work there at 12 Division. Sources had told me that there was not a single staff sergeant on a single platoon at 12 Division. The chief said effective this morning that there were some, as he called them, high-performing sergeants and staff sergeants being deployed to 12 Division to kind of underscore that supervision role that he says is so important in dealing with the aftermath of Project South. Liz and Bakari.
Thank you. That's Beatrice Vaisman live at Toronto Police Headquarters.
It's 5:52 -8. This is Live at 5.
And up next, why Air Canada is suspending flights to Cuba and how the airline plans to bring people home.
Air Canada is suspending service to Cuba due to a shortage of jet fuel on the island. So the airline says it will still send flights to Cuba over the following days to pick up the approximately 3,000 passengers that are still there to bring them back home. Now, Cuba had warned international airlines aviation fuel would no longer be available starting tomorrow. The shortfall is expected to last through March 11th. Air Canada plans to tanker in extra fuel for the planes that will carry its customers home. CTV News Toronto caught up with travelers at Pearson Airport who came back from Cuba today.
We had no issues whatsoever, no food shortages. There was lots of vehicles going back and forth, so we didn't even notice anything.
I feel bad for the workers and stuff. Like, this is their livelihood and they're looking forward to tourism, and unfortunately this took a big toll for them. So it's kind of sad.
Honestly, you don't really feel that anything's wrong. It's more like when you read about things online, right? And it's just really unfortunate because of the Cuban people, and they have so many shortages there as it is. So definitely, like, you just feel bad for them.
And legendary Canadian comedian and actress Catherine O'Hara died of a pulmonary embolism with cancer as the underlying cause. O'Hara's death certificate in Los Angeles County says a blood clot in her lungs was the immediate cause of her death on January 27th, but that rectal cancer was the long-term cause. The Toronto native is arguably best known for her roles in Schitt's Creek, Beetlejuice, and Home Alone, but maybe more so locally in skits on SCTV in the 70s. O'Hara was just 71 years old.
It's 5:59 minus 8. This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24.
Thanks for watching CTV News at 6. That's next.